All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Plan the Day Brideside Chat. My name is Christina Goebel, and I am the president of PlanTheDay.com. And I have Brittany with me. She is a bride and good friend of mine. So really excited to have her on the show to really talk about her tips and tricks for the guest list because she does have her wedding coming up in like 30 days exactly today. So she's going to give us some good tips. And Brittany, go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, hi guys, I'm Brittany. I'm from the Indianapolis area. And like Christina said, I'm getting married on April 30th. So it's coming up really quick. And I just getting to the point where I feel like I've learned a lot and just wanted to be able to share some good tips for other people who may be engaged or going through the process just like I was.
Absolutely. And thanks so much. Really excited to jump in and learn about these guest list tips and tricks. So go on ahead and provide that awesome feedback.
Okay, sure. So one of the things that I was telling Christina about that I felt was really stressful for me was just you get engaged and it's super exciting. And Nick and I had a little bit longer of an engagement, which was great. But something that we learned right away that was really important was to work on your guest list fairly quickly. You'll get a lot of questions. And when you start thinking about vendors and just where you want to have it and who you want to invite, it's really important to know your number count right away. And so we were actually so excited that night that we got engaged. We started doing the guest list right away, and immediately we just started thinking about, who we wanted to invite. And it just kind of got a little jumbled when we were thinking about friends and family, and we were trying to come up with all these different names. And so something that was really beneficial for us was we basically worked off of an Excel sheet. And we came up with 3 tabs to use. And one tab was friends, one tab was family, and then one tab was family friends. And so we ended up having 6 tabs total, so 3 for me and then 3 for him. And it just made the process a lot easier to think about. And not that you think that you would forget anyone, but it just made it a lot easier to separate a little bit. So that was definitely one thing that was really beneficial in the beginning. And now looking back to, I wish we would have used Google Sheets earlier on, which is a sharing platform that you can use. Basically, it's like Excel if you don't know, but you can invite someone else to basically edit. So you could be working on the list at the same time.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's huge too, especially if you have did you have mom or anything helping you with the guest list, or was it just you and Nick or?
Yeah, I think Nick and I really started it out at first, and then both spoke with our parents and just made sure that, we had the family friends that, they wanted to include as well. And that kind of goes into my next discussion of obtaining addresses early on as well. So, but I definitely think the tabs and stuff was super helpful for us, and it just helped us stay organized and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know when we talked, you mentioned just knowing the importance of how many guests you're going to have, total number, just because when you're looking at venues, you need to really start thinking about, okay, the cost, for food per guest, and really having that number up front really helps you to budget for the venue and the food and everything like that. So can you talk a little bit about that piece too?
Absolutely. That's such a good point because, for example, let's say you've got your guest list down and, you want to invite, approximately 200 people, and you get to one vendor and they can hold 200 people, but maybe it's completely out of your price range. So that's just like a whole nother level to discuss, is it what's most important to you? Is it who's going to be there, or is it the location? Because all that plays a big part of it. And we knew that we were going to have a big wedding, and it was important for us just to have the people there. And so we accepted that, okay, this is what we have to work with, and we've got to get our number at this point. But at the end of the day, it was the people around us that we wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good point. So you're okay to compromise in some other little areas to make sure that the people that you really wanted there could be there. So
absolutely. And that's something else too. It's like, whether you want a big wedding or a small wedding, usually you're going to run into, having to really fine tune that list. And I think that's something that a lot of people experience, and I'm happy to touch on a few thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, how did you fine tune that? Because I know that you also talked about how you and Nick had to kind of sit down at one point too and go through your friends list, because that list can grow so quickly. So how did you narrow that piece down and really decide on, okay, these are the friends that we really want to make sure they're there? And not that the other friends, they're important, obviously, but you may not be as close to them. They may be more acquaintances. So how did you narrow that down too?
Yes, that definitely happened. We were both very involved at Purdue, and he had a lot of different friend groups, and it's just going to happen. So I think the best advice that I was given, and something that we both talked to each other about, was just to say, okay, we know we have to fine tune this. This is not going to be fun. Let's go through the list. And simply what we asked each other was, are these people going to be in our lives now, and will they be in the future? And I think it's easy to want to include everyone who's touched your life along the way, but at the end of the day, like, if you don't feel that they're going to be a part of your life together moving forward, then that was something that we took into consideration.
That's such a good point, and it's really something that I didn't even think about when I was planning my wedding, because it's not only, I think the piece that I liked that you really said was the fact that, do we see them in our lives together as a couple? Not so much do you see that person in your life and then in his life, do you see them together in your future? And I think that's such a good point that, I didn't think about when I was getting married. So that's great advice.
Right. And it's normal. Like, Nick and I get along obviously wonderful and stuff, but it is, overwhelming when you have to start making those decisions, and it's not that one person's more important or less important than the other, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to make that decision. So that just kind of put it into perspective for us to be able to just put everything else aside and just decide together, who is important to be there.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Well, I know that I want us to keep it at 10 minutes, so short and sweet. Is there anything else any other tip you want to provide, or do you want to share something fun about your wedding? And then we'll kind of go from there and we'll kind of close it out.
Absolutely. Well, I think at the end of the day, having a longer engagement was something that I would recommend for other people. Ours was a little over a year. I just think having a little more time to be able to not feel the stress and have the homework every night, because I'm already starting to feel that now, was really, really beneficial. And so if I could recommend anything to anyone, is just, don't feel like you have to be rushed, because it's your time and you're going to be together regardless, and just make the most of it. And I'm looking so forward to being future Mrs. Burke, so I can't wait.
Yeah, so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be here before you know it, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So excited for you and Nick. And thank you so much for being on the show. I know with being so close to your wedding, I know things are crazy busy right now with work and weddings. So thanks again for being on the show and helping out brides just across with providing some awesome advice and tips. I think it's advice that it's good to hear, and good to know. So yeah.
Thank you for having me, and to all those brides, good luck. And thank you, Christina, once again.
Yeah, thank you. And again, brides, thank you for tuning in, and hope you really enjoyed these tips from Brittany. Feel free to share them with your friends, really help them out. These short tips can really help you throughout the wedding planning process. Again, we're here to help you to make this planning fun. It should not be stressful. So again, feel free to check us out at plantheday.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so you can get updates on the upcoming shows. We are going to have a show every single Thursday. And again, there's going to be a pro on the show one week, and then we'll have a bride on the show the next week, and we'll go back and forth. So again, thanks again. Next week, we have a DJ coming on the show. He's going to talk about top 3 things to consider when you are going to hire a DJ or looking for a DJ. So I know DJs are a really important piece of the wedding, so I'm really excited to hear what Joel has to say about it. So again, thanks again, Brittany. Thank you, brides, for tuning in, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.